Where are we today? We are down in Galesville at Old Main, and this is Keith Cook.
Yep, Nancy.
And Keith, what is your position here?
Well, I guess I'm the head of the historical and genealogy room here today and part of Old Main. So I kind of inherited that after Gary Olson had passed a few years ago. So that's what pretty much I do up here, hang out up here, and I do work with two other ladies, Judy Gouch and Dorothy Dale, and we're also bringing in, where hopefully Rob Grover will join us, and then we're looking at Hunter Coop, which would be Kenny Coop's grandson. So,
that's
Kenny
great.
He put a lot of money into this building, so Kenny did. So yeah.
So for people that maybe have never heard of Old Main that are watching this, can you explain exactly what Old Main and Gale College is all about?
Well, as far as historical thing, well, what I do here is I help when people will go through the internet and they'll call or they'll go through the internet and they'll looking for information on their grandparents or if they went to college here, that sort of thing, or we just get people from just looking for information.
Sure.
And I try to help them out as much as I can. So.
And how old is this building, Old Main?
This building was built in 1862. It started, and then 62, I believe, and then it was completed in 65. And so that was only 2 stories at that time.
Okay.
And then there was a fire in the 1880s, and then when Johnny Clem was here doing his military exercises, he built the 3rd floor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this was part of Gale College.
College. At first was a university. Yep.
And that was started when?
The university started in 1859 when they had and then they did all of the classes and stuff downtown in the city hall, which was the county courthouse at that time.
Yeah.
And then when this was completed in 65, around that time, then they all came over here.
And how long was it a functioning university or college?
From like 1862 until 1939.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mother actually went here for 1 year, and she must have been like in one of the last classes. I think it was 1938 or something.
I remember your mother. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what happened is she got put ahead a year in school, which they used to do back then.
Yeah.
So when she graduated, she was only 17.
Okay.
And she was going to be going to nurses training, but she had to be 18. So she had this like gap year, but she came here and studied.
They also taught high school courses here too. So,
so it's got a long history.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And I think this is interesting. The #1 hobby in the United States right now is genealogy.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's something you can do no matter what your physical shape is, and it's kind of addicting.
Yeah.
It's
It
interesting.
is. Oh, yeah. I've been doing Galesville histories for over 50 years. So, yeah.
So what if people come up here? Tell us what you have in this room. Maybe you can start right here.
These are just files of different things that we can't fit in smaller areas. Like we got Old Main posters, Gale College photos, Galesville photos, some history on Judge Gale, an early history on Galesville University, the high school, the centennial we had. We have some Trempealeau stuff in here, calendars, Alexander Arnold, Princess Marinuka, and Nicholas Ray. He was a movie director.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. And he was born here in Galesville.
Okay.
He did Rubber Without a Cause.
So
these were just like
nice
pictures and photos of. These were just more or less advertisements and stuff we had.
Yeah.
And then we have pictures of the old college. This is, I think, was the dedication of the ladies' dormitory, which is located over here.
Yeah, yeah. And now this dormitory is apartments?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And the men's dormitory, which is to the south of us here, from my understanding, somebody bought that and is remodeling that.
Okay. Well, it's nice to see things being used.
Yeah. You know, like this here was a dormitory at one time. Now,
oh, really?
They moved these two ends here and made homes out of them, which are One is still down here yet, and the other one burned a few years ago. But this house is still here. It's just sitting right over here. It's been all gutted and remodeled.
Sure. That's the yellow one?
Yeah, the yellow house over there, yeah.
That is interesting. That must be from what?
1904.
1904, okay.
Yeah.
That is really something. I love this picture up
Oh,
here.
isn't that great?
Yes, that was, at the
1878, I think, is what we kind of figured that was.
On the square.
Yep.
And I never figured out what the occasion was, why everybody was there.
Yeah, I never knew either, but...
An election or something,
This here is the
maybe?
fire station.
Uh-huh.
This here is the county courthouse
Okay.
and city hall.
Yeah.
This was a, machine shed,
Right.
or machinery. They did, horses and harnesses and
Yeah,
saddles and stuff
yeah.
in there. And those were just other businesses and stuff along the edge.
There's just so much going on in that
Yeah, they
picture,
even had
but I love it.
They had a water pump there,
Well, yeah, for the
Yeah,
horses and
yeah.
everybody else,
Oh,
too,
yes.
I guess.
There is two of these. There is another one that they made a little bit more to the
yeah?
left here, and you can see the commercial hotel that was over here.
Sure,
And the
okay.
lake was so much bigger at that time, so.
Yeah. Now, over here on the wall, this is kind of like a plat map, or?
This is it's actually on some kind of material. It's, we dug this out of the little schoolhouse up there at Trempealeau County Fairgrounds
okay.
when we were up there
Right,
cleaning that
yeah,
out.
yeah.
So it's a map of the town of Gale from 1890.
Okay, and it shows all the different lots and everything.
Sections, yeah.
So
And it
for
was
somebody doing genealogy, that might be helpful for them
Yeah.
too, to
Yeah.
find out.
Oh,
People
yeah.
are always saying, well, I want to find out where great-grandma lived or
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
So that's interesting.
Yep, I've had people call me up and say, I was at the library and they couldn't help me, so then the library calls
Yeah.
me, and they were looking for their great-grandfather's property where
Sure.
it used to be. So,
Yeah.
and I looked at my old plat maps I have at home, and I showed them, took pictures of it and
Yeah.
sent it to them. So,
Yeah, that's a good resource.
and this is a really nice thing. This is the actual
it's a-
blueprints
It's a blueprint.
from the square in Galesville, the
Of
band
the
shell.
square. Oh,
Yeah, that was built in 1912.
yeah.
And can you believe it? They built that for between $600 and $800.
Really?
Yeah. So,
That is really neat.
yep.
Now, over here is something that we think would be a lot of fun. What are all these volumes here?
These we just inherited from the Trempealeau County Times because they no longer have their building in Whitehall anymore. So they called me up and wanted to know if I could come get all the Galesville Republicans and the Trempealeau County Times.
All the bound newspapers.
Bound newspapers,
Yeah.
yes. Well, the world wants some information in there, so.
That is, you're right, that's a great way.
Oh, yeah.
This is really, and this is all the Whitehall Times.
No, this Trempealeau County Times
Oh,
and Galesville Republicans.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of information
Oh,
there,
yeah,
isn't
and we
there?
also have, those are also at the Galesville Library too, but they have a lot more they go back to the 1860s.
So how far back do these go?
These go from, let's see, 2010 to like 1921.
Okay. A lot of information there.
Yes, oh yeah.
Because I have a lot of people that want to find obituaries for.
We do. We have a lot of obituaries. A woman by the name of Doris Longwell did, I don't know when she started this, but we have books of Galesville area people, obituaries from 61 to 83, and then we have 84 to 90 of just Galesville area residents.
Yeah.
Probably Trempealeau and Ector are also in there too.
Right.
So.
Well, that's a great resource. And then
Yep.
what do we have here?
So here we have, all of these are stuff that people have donated to Old Main, and all of this stuff is in our computer and it's all accessible online through our
cool.
Past
Yeah.
Perfect. So you have the Gibble family. Bert Gibble did the Galesville Republican for many
Yeah,
years.
he was known for all over.
Yep, and we have the Centennial information, early settlers of Galesville, Galesville High School before 54, veterans, more obituaries, photos, fire department, Ralph and Marge Meyer, who owned the Gilbertson Myers store,
Right.
the Kilman family, Arthur Geary, who was a teacher or professor here, a lawyer in town, Otto Reamer was a teacher, and Edith Bartlett. So.
So that's a lot of good information.
Oh
put
yeah,
there
right
too.
there. It's just full of stuff. Yeah.
And then what do we have here in these?
So in all these are going to be. This is all like more or less businesses of Galesville.
Oh, okay.
Churches.
Yeah.
Movie theaters. That's about what's in here. Bank of Galesville, Apple Affair stuff, Hammer and Egenhagen store,
And there,
the
you know,
Keith
again,
Garage.
There's people saying, well, you know, my great uncle had a business here
Yeah.
in Galesville, so this is where they could find
And then
out
down
about
here
it.
we have more or less county-wide stuff. We have North Bend and
Oh.
Trempealeau and Town of Holland, Town of Gale,
Yeah.
Buffalo County, just stuff that people have donated to us.
Yeah.
And geez, I hate like heck to throw it away.
No, this is a nice way. These
yeah.
are really nice
Yep.
cabinets, and
And
they
then over
keep
here
things.
in this one we have people.
Okay.
You know, you go from Ray and Dawn Anderson to the Denuger family,
Mm-hmm.
French family, Moultons, the Rawl family, just numerous people
Sure.
that were here from Galesville.
Yeah, those are all names that
Yep.
I know, I remember. Movers and shakers in the
Yep.
town.
Dr. Alvarez, you know.
Yes,
So
yeah.
Isaac Clark.
And up here you've got the old annuals.
We got annuals, high school annuals. This was a Bible from Nelson Cook, non-relation to me, but it's an old family Bible that they donated to us. And Trumpealeau County information and Town of Gale assessment rolls
Yeah.
for 1855 to 71. And these are just ladies. This lady was went to Gale College, and she is either college or the high school, and they always do these memory books from freshman to senior year,
Oh.
full of pictures and things like
Yeah.
that. Same with this woman here. And Clark Nixon, who was a bank president here in Galesville for many
Yep.
years, he donated a whole bunch of stuff to us, and that's full of postcards.
Wow. And these are the same kind of files you've
Yep,
got over
yep.
there.
But these are more related to the county, Native Americans, and Gale College.
Okay. The Justice of the Peace Record Book, 1868 to 69. I'll bet
Yeah.
that's interesting.
I'm sure. And then, you know, someone made this pillow when they were here at Gale College. Yeah.
And okay, looking all the way
So
up, what is
all
the
way up,
red? What is,
that I don't know exactly. We've been trying to figure that out. It was donated here from the Twesme family. Dorothy Twesme donated that.
okay.
It might have been something her husband wore when he went to high school here, but it looks like a band uniform or
Yeah.
the leader of a band.
Well, that would have been different. A cape.
Yeah, with the hat.
Yeah.
And the Galesville concert band drum. And,
And
then
then
we have a band
another
uniform
uniform?
from the Peacock up there on Decorah Prairie, just beyond that, between there
Yeah,
and
it's up in Glasgow.
yeah, Glasgow area.
And it's hard to imagine that community having its own
Yeah,
band
yep.
with uniforms.
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
Yep.
That is really something.
And we received a really nice sign here that was a bar and restaurant in Galesville, the old Green Lantern.
Yeah.
I'm sure you remember that, Nancy.
Yeah, I do. And I'm trying to think what's there now. Is that?
That's the bakery there.
Yeah.
They make bread and whatnot.
Oh,
Renaissance.
right,
Is it
right.
Was it Renaissance?
Yep, that was right on the square.
Yeah.
And this was the class play, I guess.
Yes.
They had one every year, didn't they?
Oh, yes.
And that was a big deal,
Yep.
a very big deal. One of my great uncles went here, and I've still got the picture of him and the play and everything they
Okay.
were in.
Oh,
and that
yeah.
was like 1916 or 17
Yep.
or something. It was really interesting.
And a lot of old calendars. And
Yeah.
we have Bert Gippel's thing from the fire department.
Huh.
We inherited Judge George Gale's mantel clock. That was a lady that somehow was here when an auction was here at the Eugene Clark family, and she bought that. And then when she was moving into a home, she contacted us, and so we had to go down and get that.
And this looks like a trophy.
Yeah, that's a Galesville Golf Club trophy, and everybody's names and stuff are on the bottom. Well, we got that from Jim Quinn. his name is on there. He's quite the
Yeah.
golfer in his day.
Yeah.
And then we received a lot of Doc Rohde's sign from
Yeah,
outside.
I
and his-
remember I
and-
went to him many times.
and his medical bag with with his
Wow.
white coat and his
Yeah.
medical equipment are in there. His daughter donated that.
That is really nice. He was your old-fashioned
Yeah.
town doctor. I mean, he made house calls. He went way out
Yep.
and delivered babies, everything. He
Yeah.
was just
I remember
great
Doc
guy.
Moen, so he
Yep.
was.
Yeah, they were a great team.
Yeah.
And this was from 2004, but you said that turned out to be a cold day.
Yes, a cold weekend, and then the parade
Dear.
that day on that Sunday was raining, so it was
Ah.
just not a very good weekend to have
Yeah.
it.
Well,
But
nothing you can do about
nothing
the
to
weather.
do about the weather.
And this must have been from Brother Mel,
Yep.
right?
Yep. He was one of the brothers here when it was running by the Catholic.
By the Mary
Mary Nook,
Nook.
yep.
Yeah. And this is watercolor,
Yes.
isn't it? Yeah. He got to have some kind of degree of being noticed for being a good
Yes, from my
good
understanding,
artist.
he did. Yeah. We have a few of his watercolors
Yeah.
and paintings here.
Well, that's a special one.
Yep.
Now, is this available to people that want to come up here and look
Yes,
at
they can
things?
come up here and look, and let's see if I can get this to come up here.
Okay.
Went away.
So they can get in here and do some research.
Yes, you can, and you can also, everything you can do here, you can do at home.
Uh-huh.
You
Oh,
go
okay.
to oldmain.org, or I think it's, I forget what the website is again,
Yeah.
and then you click on Galesville history, or just the history, and then it'll come up on Past Perfect.
Yeah.
And there's like photos, archives, library. Just click on all that and everything will come up.
Yeah.
Or you can even punch in somebody's first name or last name
Do a
and anything
search,
and
yeah.
search, and everything we have that's logged in there
Yeah.
will come up.
Oh, that's really nice. And
Yeah.
then that must be,
It's not coming up. This is a scanner.
you
we
got a
have.
scanner, so,
So
if they wanted to.
So if we take one picture, it probably takes about 15 minutes to log all the information
Mm-hmm.
in, as much as, I'll put in the street that they have, anybody we identify in there, and we scan it, and it gets sent into that computer and
Yeah.
stays there.
Well, that's really nice.
Yeah.
And what we have back here in the corner then?
Just a bunch of little banks from the Galesville banks.
The theater.
The theater, some from merchants,
Yeah.
Galesville Bottle Works.
This is really a neat
That was
cabinet,
donated
too.
to us by Robin Dawkins.
Really?
She donated that before she passed away.
Yeah. Huh.
So
Well, that's kind of unique, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever seen one like that before.
we do have the key to the Galesville jail here. So that was down there where Beaver Builders is,
Sure.
or Maxwell Davis Lumberyard at that time, and there was that little building right there.
Boy, that's a big key, too,
Yeah.
isn't it? That's right. People forget that towns used to have their own jails.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I
right.
think most of the people that stayed at that jail were intoxicated too
Probably.
much, I think.
Yeah, probably. And people always, look at these bowls, and
Yeah.
if you look inside of them, there'll be a stamp in there. It was usually a merchant was.
Yep, we had a lady that was related to these people here, this Marius Olson, and she'd been looking for one of these bowls for years.
Huh.
And I said, well, she called us up and wanted if we had any information on him, and she'd been looking for that bowl, so I took a picture of it. So she was happy that
Oh, I'll bet.
we got that for her.
And Christmas ornaments with
Yep.
advertising on
Yep.
it. Mm-hmm. Well, that's really nice. That's really interesting. And right here, I'm saying
I'm
this
going to
is.
drag out something here.
You got some more special files over there.
This is what's nice here, what somebody did. We have every student that graduated from Gale College
Oh.
and every student that attended.
Okay.
So if someone really gives me a year or a name, well, then I'll search through this whole thing and let them know that they did. Some people say, well, my grandmother graduated from...
Yeah.
No, she didn't. She only went for 2 years.
Okay.
She took a couple courses. She
Yeah.
might have went for a teacher or something
Right,
like that.
right.
So, but this is real handy for people who are doing research for that.
Yeah.
It's been a really treasure.
So, did people go here to get teaching degrees?
Yep.
It was kind of a
Yeah.
normal school.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yep, they
And-
taught everything. There were so many things that they taught here that I just can't even remember everything. It was from, mathematics to science to...
Yeah. And they could get a teacher certificate
Yep.
as well.
Yep, and you could come here after you graduated high school. You come here for 1 year, and then you could go out and teach rural schools.
Sure,
You know,
yeah.
so, yeah.
It was a good system, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty amazing. Because I had a friend, she started teaching school when she was 17. Her first school was Beach, up in Beach Corner.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget her telling me that on the very first day, she had 13 first graders and none of them spoke English.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Yeah. 17 years old in her
Yeah.
first, yeah. But I don't know. Maybe people just weren't, they were pretty undaunted by some
I'm
of these
sure.
things back then.
Yep.
That's a lot of research, and that's
Yeah.
really nice.
Yep, that's been really handy.
Yeah. Right over here is something that I noticed, and I thought, this is really special.
Oh, yeah.
This is, are these all of Robin Dawkins
this
table
is all
chats?
Robin Dawkins table chats.
Oh.
Every one of them. She started out with, just a single little
Right,
page.
Yeah.
And it's just wealth of information.
It was a great idea. It was so much fun.
Gave those papers away,
Yes. Yep. And Robin, she was my cousin and a really dear friend.
Yep.
And my mother and I used to have so much fun sitting down and reading the table chat
Oh, yeah.
together. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
a great, great thing.
I would go over to her house on Sundays and we would go through and
Yeah.
she'd ask me different things, make sure we got everything
Yeah.
right. And,
Yeah.
and she was a wealth of information.
And people loved it. They would.
Yep.
If she asked for information on a picture or something,
Yep.
all kinds of
Usually-
people would be involved.
Yeah, and
trying
people
to-
would send her stuff,
Yes. Yeah, it was great.
Yep.
And you've got them all. That's wonderful.
Every one of them. And how we got them all is when Robin passed, her sister Anita said, I need you to come over here and take care of some of Robin's stuff.
Yeah.
All these chats. So I went over and got them all. And I also took care of all the stuff that she had in the house and got a lot of the stuff back to people. If I couldn't get it back, it was all put back here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is great. I was happy to see that. I didn't realize that they were all,
Yep, we have one
bound
of these in
together.
the Galesville Library
Oh, you do?
here.
Yeah.
And I think we gave one to Trempealeau, and then we gave one to the Robin Dawkins family. So
It was such a simple idea, but it was so much fun and it was so engaging
Yes.
for the community.
you couldn't wait every other week to get one.
No, I know, and I couldn't wait for the papers to come out. That was great.
Yep. Yeah.
And you got some more wonderful pictures here. I love
Yep.
the pictures of the fair.
Yep. These all black and white photos hung in Scogan's IGA when they first built up here in Galesville, I think in like 89, I think,
Yeah.
right around that time. Well, then it changed hands and they were getting rid of them, so we'll take them.
This must have been around the turn of the century. The
I
way
would say
people
right
are
around
dressed.
1900, yeah.
All there under that beautiful old grandstand.
That grandstand was built in 1896 and was tore down in 1996.
Yeah, and it was people still miss it.
Oh, yeah.
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 But it was great. And here, too,
That's around 1900, too.
you can see that there's a trotting race going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The silky horses.
Yeah, people forget that. We used to have harness racing at the fair. My mother told me that one year during the Depression, when nobody had any money, but they still had the fair, that her family, they were allowed to come to the fair for free. My grandfather had an old truck or something. Well, it was new then. But if he brought it down there and exhibited it at the fair, then they could come for free.
They'd see his new truck.
Yeah.
Huh? Oh, wow.
And she said they didn't have much money for anything else at the fair that year, but they had softball games. And that brought people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, people loved the fair.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this, of course, is
Johnny Clem.
Johnny Clem.
Yep. He was a Civil War veteran. He enlisted when he was probably 10 or 12. And he fought right alongside all the other fellas. He also came here in 1878, and from 78 to like 85, and taught military services here, like exercises and things like that. We have a photo here, and I'm not sure where it is right now, but they were out in this front yard out here shooting cannons out that way.
I bet the farmers love that.
Yeah, I'm sure there was nothing out that way at that time.
I hope not.
Yeah.
And he was noted as the drummer boy of Shiloh, wasn't he? Yes, yes. The story was, I heard, was that he started out as a drummer boy.
Yep.
And then during the battle, at some point, he put down his drum and he got a gun from somebody, and then that was it. He wasn't a drummer boy anymore.
Yeah.
So and he was noted nationally.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's really interesting.
Yep.
And around the corner here, there's a great interior picture.
Yeah, I'm not sure which store that is. It wasn't marked anywhere. I don't know where that one was at.
Huh. All the guys there, and it must be winter, huh?
I would say so.
Yeah. That is a great picture. There's so much detail in there. You could look at all the bottles and the things that they're selling. And what a great shot. Yeah, we don't know who any of those people are. That's too bad. Right on your pictures, right? Put some information on them.
Always put stuff on your pictures, even if not, just date them.
Yeah, yeah.
And the picture behind you, Nancy, is the first swinging bridge in Gale.
Oh, gosh, I do miss that swinging bridge.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's too bad.
Around the 1860s.
And that was...
it lost in 2017. The bad flood we had here took it out, and we just hasn't been rebuilt yet.
No, and a lot of people would really
dearly
like to see that get built again. And every time I had any kind of company from somewhere, that's where they wanted to go, was the swinging bridge.
They love that bridge.
And that was a great bridge.
Yep.
Yeah, what fun.
But it's it's going to cost a lot of money for this community to have it done, so I think they are raising money for it.
Yeah, well, it's a good project.
Yeah.
And then is this a table, right?
This here was a trunk.
Oh, okay.
This was in the Eugene Clark house. So he was a state senator. So when you leave the Senate, they pile up all your stuff.
Look at that.
And they put it in a box and they send it home.
Okay. Now the Clarks, weren't they in the bank? So,
Yep. Isaac Clark was the president of the bank, and then his son Eugene was also president of the bank and a state senator.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's pretty cool.
So Gary Olson this was up in, who owns the home now is Larry and Judy Gouch.
Okay.
So they had this in their attic, and she's a part of this historical thing, so she donated us, and then Gary Olson put some legs on it, and we make a little table out of it.
That is really nifty.
Yeah. Huh. We have another one over in the corner over there is
over
the
here.
Kilmans.
Yeah. Now that was a name that was pretty prominent in Gilsville for quite a while.
They had
what did they have?
They had a store,
hardware store,
and then there was also Kilman Jewelry.
Okay.
This one here is Norris Kilman.
Yeah.
And he was also a senator.
Didn't they have a pool hall too?
Yes, they did.
Yeah. I've seen pictures of that.
Oh yeah. I think I remember seeing it on the TV.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. And I don't think there are any Kelmans here anymore.
No,
are
they're
there?
not.
Nope. But one more thing, tell us about this uniform.
That is a military cadet band uniform when Johnny Clem was here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We have like 3 or 4 of those.
And they're all made out of wool.
Oh yeah, they're hot. I wouldn't want to wear that at 90 degrees outside.
It's all lined.
Yep.
And I would imagine, being that old, it was probably sewn by hand.
Oh, I would imagine so.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why they always made those uniforms out of wool.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be nice, running around that at 90 degrees outside?
Because usually that's when the bands were out playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the summer and everything when it was that warm. Oh my gosh. And this up here is George
Gale, yep.
Maybe you could explain for people that don't know who he was.
Judge Gale was born into Vermont, and he came here after he graduated from high school, or I don't think he really graduated. I think he was just so talented that he came to Walworth County and spent some time down there, He was a lawyer, a circuit court judge, and he came to La Crosse and was a judge in this whole area. And he wanted to have a school of higher learning in La Crosse. And they did not want any kind of thing like that there. They kind of pushed him out of town.
Oh, yeah?
So he came up this way, looking for a place to have his own village and start his own university. So he bought this 2,000 acres, what we're standing on now, and became Galesville.
Now, he was kind of a land speculator, too.
Yes, he did surveying, and his brother-in-law, Armstrong, and Luce, they all helped him. So.
Yeah, and among other things, I was thinking that
Yep.
he really was promoting Galesville by this college. They called it the University in the Wilderness.
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything.
Yes, it was.
So interesting
So he was way ahead of his time.
Right, yeah.
Yep.
And he created Trempealeau County.
Yeah, he helped create Trempealeau County. He took some from La Crosse County, Buffalo County, Eau Claire County and Jackson County, and made Trempealeau County.
Long, narrow Trempealeau County.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't call it Gale County.
He's known as the father of Trempealeau County.
Okay, well, he deserves it. And one more guy. Who's the guy on the wall back here?
That is Dr. Young, which is a brother-in-law to Judge Gale. He also helped Dr. Young. He was the first doctor here in Galesville.
Okay.
Yep. He also owned the commercial hotel at the time. That's where he lived.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And then you've got some pictures down here.
This is Judge George Gale's home. This is when the Parker family lived there and bought it after Mrs. Gale sold the place.
But that was out of town.
Out on County K.
Yeah.
It burned in February of 1964.
Yeah, I remember when that burned, yeah.
Yep.
But that was the Parker family.
The Parker family had it. And then the Parkers, and after that, one of the Parkers married Vasquez, and the Vasquezes lived there at the time. Yep.
I remember my grandmother telling me that the Parker girls had their own horse and buggies.
Yeah.
And they were quite well off. And
yeah, they were. They were from La Crosse. Yeah. This is a shot from the inside. And then they also did the Vasquez family remembered, and a lot of people remembered what it looked like inside.
Right.
You know, they have all of the floor plans from the house.
Well, that is really neat. Because somebody had told me one time that that there was a dance floor or something in that house. I don't know if that was right or not.
Yeah, that I don't know.
Yeah, but it was a big house.
But they say it was quite the beautiful home.
Yes, yep. And when I was a little kid, I remember it, but it wasn't in very good shape at that time.
Yep.
Yeah, it kind of had outlived its time. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess that is a pretty thorough investigation here. Now, if people want to get a hold of you to use this facility, what should they do?
They can go through our website at Old Main. I think it's Galesville. I forget what the website is. It makes me mad. But you can go, I think it's oldmain.org.
Okay.
And you can go on that, and there's something if you want to find something or get a hold of me, or you're looking for information on somebody, you can fill that form out, and then they'll get back to me.
Oh, okay.
And you leave your number or your email with them, and I'll get a hold of you.
And they can come up here and they
come
can
up
use
here
the facilities.
Yep, use it, or they'll give me information, and I'll go dig for them.
Yeah. And this is heated. So if you come in the winter, you don't have to sit here in your jacket and gloves.
One of the biggest books that I have has been a real help is this History of Trempealeau County.
That's a good one.
It was published in 1917, and it's got wealth of information.
Yes.
There's hundreds of people in here from the county that I get a lot of information out of this book. So
basically that book, about half of it is biographies.
Yeah.
And I think people paid to have them put in there, as I recall.
Most of the people that are in here are more prominent people that they had a little bit of money to.
Yeah. Well, that was how they paid for
the book, I'm sure.
Yeah. So that's really neat.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Keith. This has really been interesting. And like I say, there's a lot of people that are interested in genealogy. It's a real addicting enterprise, a hobby, because you can go down all kinds of roads, you know. Maybe you started just looking at your great aunt, but then you got interested in one of her kids or one of her ancestors, and all of a sudden you're off some other direction.
A lot of people that contact me, they can't find it on Ancestry.com or any of those other websites, so then they just start searching, and you know, they get a hold of us somehow.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. All right, well, Keith, thank you very much, and we do appreciate it, and this has been a lot of fun.
You bet. Thank you now.